what's up? This is Gary Owen. These are my best friends. From Philly, Troy and Rashad.
New York.
Oh, I thought you guys were Philly. I heard you outside saying Philly.
The guy you called, he's from.
Oh, my fault.
He's from Philly.
My fault. Their camera guy is from Philly. They're from New York.
Shout out to Philly.
What borough?
Tricky.
Yeah, we live in right outside the city in Westchester, Greenburgh, New York specifically.
Is that New York or is it New Jersey?
No.
It's New York.
It's north of the city. So like 10 minutes from the Bronx, there's a city called White Plains. We live inside that city in the town.
We're from outside the city.
Yeah.
Westchester is the county outside of New York.
Do you have yards?
I do.
Because New York, man.
Tough.
Some of those boroughs, I'm like, yo, they're just on top. I read something about New York City, and you can tell, you guys live there, you tell me the truth. If all the buildings got taken down and all the people were forced to be on the ground, there's not enough space.
No.
Nah, of course not.
Definitely.
You're just stacked on each other.
Yeah,
especially like Manhattan, is of course not. It's a very small island, so yeah, it's overpopulated.
So you guys' hoodies, assets over liabilities. And I made a joke. I said, well, I've been living backwards. I've got a lot of liabilities, not enough assets. and I'm going through a divorce. It's been very public.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, no, you're not.
Well, should we say congratulations? I'm not sure.
I love when you get divorced and people are like, sorry to hear that. I go, you're not really sorry. It's like when you see someone on social media and be like, I'm praying for you. I go, what do you actually praying for? Because you don't know me. You don't know what I'm going through. You'll say something like, or I made a joke on my last special where people always be like, I need everybody to send all their prayer warriors. Because I'm going through something where I'm a prayer warriors. And I go this, I go, okay, where are the warriors going? And is there really a bunch of angels up in heaven with war paint on and like bow and arrows ready to come down to earth and protect like your spirit?
Yeah, I mean, I say that in the sense of like, I could imagine what that's like. Because it doesn't sound like it's going great.
What, the divorce?
Yeah.
It is what it is.
It is. Well, it's part of life. It's part of life, man.
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
I got divorced before.
It's not the end of the world. We're not the last people to get divorced.
Yeah.
We're not the first.
You're still living.
Yeah, but man, the numbers that get thrown around in a divorce. Is that why you started getting into money? Did the divorce lead you down that road?
No.
Because I might be the third partner.
Well, you was married. How long were you married?
17.
Well, that was,
Wow.
yeah, that's the killer. That's the killer.
All our kids are over 18.
Okay.
So there's no child support.
Okay. God bless. God bless.
There was a big the big battle for the longest was it was like a cat and mouse game avoiding a process server, because Ohio and California, we're Ohio State residents, but we did have a house in California, and you guys would know. I'm learning all this as I'm going, but you can have as many houses as you want. You can only have one basically home base.
Yeah, primary residence.
Primary residence.
Yeah.
So that was Ohio, but even with that, I still was worried about getting served because she wanted it in California. Obviously, we're state rate. We vote in Ohio, pay taxes in Ohio. So obviously, I wanted in Ohio. So it was a big cat and mouse game. And then all my friends that have money was just calling me, giving me horror stories about divorces in California and 50-50 and like lifetime alimony type stuff.
Quadro and all that. You got to go through that. One of these things nobody thinks about when they get married is this a business decision. And it's your business partner. Mm-hmm. It's a business partner, right? And it's like any business. If you have a successful business for 20 years, now you got to break that business up. It's not always easy.
Or 17 years.
Well, I don't want to get into all of it. We can talk about it off air. But the business was not as successful as it's being portrayed on social media.
Okay.
There's a lot of stuff I wouldn't divulge on social media because it's nobody's business. Mm-hmm. But I'm excited. I'm glad you guys are on, because I know you guys probably know more about financing and everything else and investing than I do. Because I'm learning, because my ex, she handled the finances for a bulk of our marriage. So I'm on the road, I'm a comedian, and I'm just kind of giving her the money and assuming everything's getting paid and taken care of and everything else. And then, so now, going through divorce, now I'm on my own. So I'm actually excited because I'm not struggling, quote unquote. So I have, excess capital and money I can make some investments, but I can't do anything until divorce is final. So that's why you guys came on. So what should I do with my money? I got a good $300. I'm ready to move it, boys.
Put it in Dogecoin.
Go for it.
Roll the dice.
Dude, I got like a good 300, 350 on Cameo right now. Ready to just do what I want with it. I just got another one right now, another $75 in the account.
So after you get the divorce, you definitely want to start investing. Invest in stocks. You invest in stocks?
I don't.
Why not?
I don't know enough about it.
Wait. Maybe you do, though. And you just don't think you do.
Maybe.
See?
Maybe.
Mindset. It's mindset.
Would stocks be like I should go with Tesla?
Why did you say that?
That's what I be hearing people say all the time.
So then you know more than you think, right? So you say that because it's the #1 EV company. And we keep hearing, especially in California, by 2035, all cars have to do what? Be
electric.
Exactly.
You're plugged in.
There you go. And so you know that. You subconsciously said Tesla, but it's the #1 EV company.
But why wouldn't I invest in outlets?
That could be another piece, right?
Plug it in, right?
Exactly. So that is something that you can invest in, right? So if we know that all the cars have to move that way by this time, then it has to be somebody that's making charging stations for those cars.
How about that?
See? You know about investing. It's mindset.
But I don't know how,
But it's not that hard. It's not that hard.
Okay.
What kind of phone you got?
iPhone.
Apple.
There you go.
That's a good investment.
Solid. Two solid companies already.
You think you're going to lose money if you invest in Apple in
No.
20 years?
No.
Exactly.
They're not going nowhere.
Exactly.
There you go.
Well, know where my 300's going.
There's 150 and 150.
250 is going to Apple.
2 shares of
150 is
Apple.
going to Tesla. Or maybe $50 going to Tesla. My math is off
Fraction.
right now.
That's going to be fractional.
Fractional shares, yeah.
So, I've read that when I used to be in the military, and they'd always be like, take like 10% of your check and then just put it away. So when you get out, so if you do stay in the military for 10 years and then you retire, you'll have a little nest egg to do. I'm guessing you guys would be like, don't just put in a savings account.
No.
You should invest that 10%, right?
1,000%. Yeah.
You got to have savings because anything can happen.
Mm-hmm.
So you have like at least 6 months savings of like whatever your monthly expenses are. That's like your rainy day emergency fund. After that, you got to start investing.
Yeah.
Retirement, stocks. If you got kids, the kids' college funds, you got to start investing.
Real estate. Yeah. But the reason why you don't put it in is because you make such low percentages of interest when your money's in the bank.
Yeah.
Right? And so what the bank does is they actually use that money to loan that to other people that have higher interest, and they make money on your money. So it's the reason why, like, if you go, let's say you had $300,000, not that you do, but if you did and you asked tomorrow, you said, you know what, I need to take out $20,000, they're gonna tell you, no, we can't do that right now. You have to give us a 2-day advance notice for that type of capital.
They can move money from someone else's account.
They have to go
yours.
get the money now, get to you.
You know what the crazy thing is? People are like, I'm scared to invest. And what do? If they're not putting it under their mattress, they're putting their money in the bank. Because they're like, I don't trust the stock market. I'm scared to invest. You put your money in the bank, and the bank is investing your money. So you're scared to invest. If you put your money in the bank, how you think banks make money? They invest.
Yeah.
They're investing your money.
And charge interest.
Right.
Go figure.
So, somebody has, I'm just making these numbers up. Somebody came to you and said, I have $100,000 right now. What should I invest in? What would you recommend?
I mean, if you never invested ever before, like a safe, easy way they start investing in the stock market is what's called an index fund. So an index fund is like the S&P 500 is 500 companies. So all you gotta do is just buy one index fund, and that invests in 500 companies. So you diversify. It's a safe play because you're not putting all your eggs in one basket. And then there's another thing called ETFs. You want to talk about ETFs?
Yeah, so ETFs, the best way to explain it is like an all-star team, right? So if you know Apple is a solid company, and you treat that like LeBron, right? He's an amazing, maybe the greatest player of all time. We'll treat that like Apple. You can either invest in LeBron as a singular asset, or you can invest in an ETF that has a multiple companies of the same sector. So like technology is a sector, industrial is a sector, finance is a sector. And so since Apple is a technology company, it's inside there, but so is Microsoft, and so is NVIDIA, and so is AMD. All these solid tech companies, and now you have like an all-star team. So you could have LeBron, or you can have the Western Conference all-star team, right? Both have LeBron on it, but if he tears his knee, he's done. And so is your investment. If he gets hurt in the all-star game, you still got a bunch of players. You still got Steph, right? You still got maybe AD if he's healthy. All these people that can still win the game for you. And so treat it like that. Treat it like an all-star team that you're investing in.
So why isn't this pushed more? That's my thing. Like you're always pushed. Like, gotta have money in the bank. Gotta have a savings account, checking account, obviously. But I'm always curious. Like, why isn't stocks and investing like you guys are saying? Why isn't it pushed more? Like in mainstream and everything else.
Where do we learn?
Right. I don't know.
In schools, right? And schools don't teach you these things, right? Because and I always go back to the Industrial Revolution when people worked in factories, and factories were made to create more jobs. So the school system was built on that, right? The same structure, right? Bells ring, people move from class to class. They all eat in the same cafeteria. Bell rings, everybody goes home. But what they're training you, right, is to be an employee, because that's what the Industrial Revolution was. Let's create more jobs for more people. Education system, until like now when we're seeing the digital age of education, which is happening because of the pandemic, we're seeing more people investing in their own education, right, and learning outside of the four walls of a school. And so when we're in that building, right, the goal is to like get good grades, go to college to get a good
job,
not be an entrepreneur and own your own business, right? So like those two different scenarios is probably the reason why more people don't know about investing, and they should.
And it all goes down to your upbringing too. Like we come from a blue class environment. Where you from?
Cincinnati.
Blue class.
Wow.
Bengals.
Working class environment. So, what gave it away?
Like this. I don't know.
What gave it away?
Now that's a good investment right now. It wasn't in the past. Now that's a good goddamn investment.
So, people in that type of situation, they're not really thinking about investing most of the time. They're thinking about just, surviving, get a job, get a union job, things of that nature. So it's not that it wasn't being taught, because it's being taught in other households and other neighborhoods, but it just wasn't taught in our households and our neighborhoods for the most part. But now that's changing. That's why, we've created our platform where you have people that can actually, relate to us. We speak the lingo, and it's understandable and it's digestible. And it's not something that you see as like, oh, this is so hard, this is so complicated, it's foreign, it's above me. It's really not. It's just kind of been portrayed that way, so most people can just stay in their lane, and the rich get richer while the poor get poorer.
How did you guys educate yourself on this?
Just trial and error, bro. Really, honestly, like as far as investing is concerned, I started out coming out of college. I started working as a financial advisor, so I'm learning on the job, like literally on the job training. I'm going to classes, I'm studying, and I'm educating myself through reading books, through taking courses and stuff like that. And then, us just being friends our whole entire lives, he's learning from me, and then he's learning stuff on his own, and then we educating each other. So, it's no school for this stuff as far as what we did. There's no school for learning the type of things that we learned. So we learned just like, anybody else would learn on the internet, trial and error, doing it, talking to people, just like that.
I'm thinking of some of the horror stories, not horror stories, but financial problems in my line of work and people that I know have come in touch with. Maybe you guys can help. So if somebody files for bankruptcy, right? We hear that a lot in my line of work because we don't get taxes taken out of our checks. So it's on us to make sure we got the right accountant, the right tax attorney, everybody is in place. So we're in a different state all the time.
Yep.
So we're getting different taxes. And it's really hard to keep up, honestly. I don't know a comedian out there that at some point didn't have some problems with the IRS.
Yeah.
At some point. So if somebody gets to the point where they file for bankruptcy, and was it 7 years?
Yeah. How long it stays on your credit?
Yeah.
Yeah, 7.
So if somebody files for bankruptcy, how would you guys tell that person to get back on their feet?
The thing with bankruptcy is that it's not the end of the world. You probably can't buy a home anytime soon. You may have issues getting credit cards, but it doesn't stop your life. Especially if you're an entertainer, you can still go out there, perform. You can still get money. But the thing about it is to learn from those experiences. It's funny, we just had this conversation. So like one of the mistakes that entertainers make specifically is that, like you said, they don't put money aside for taxes. They're spending money and they don't realize that, you're performing in different states and there's different taxes for each state. It's extremely complicated. But another mistake is that they're actually getting paid just individual, like they're just getting like actual cash or it's just a check written out to their name.
Yeah.
So create a LLC, create a business, right?
Yeah.
So now instead of getting money just directly in your personal name, you create a business. The reason why I say create a business is now you can start taking deductions. So now you start operating as a business. You don't start thinking as a talent, you start thinking as a corporation, as a company. So now it's like, all right, you do a stand-up show and you make, whatever you make, but now you have your camera guy with you, so now you pay him, that's deducted. Your meals, your travel, your hotel, all of that is deducted. So now you're actually taking deductions. So if you got paid $20,000, maybe only $5,000 of that is actually taxable because you took $15,000 in deductions. So it's just learning the tricks of the trade, but nothing is something that you can't come back from. Like bankruptcy is not as bad as it sounds. Like like there's been billionaires that have filed for bankruptcy. It's all about learning, restructuring, and not making the same mistakes twice.
You be a president and file for bankruptcy.
Yes. I was just thinking that.
Yes.
No, another one, I'm thinking of a buddy of mine. He got kind of scammed in college, and it completely like messed his credit up, right? And I don't know what the scam was, but somehow somebody told him, this can't miss, some kind of investment, messed up his credit a little bit. And every time that guy goes to get a car, his interest rates just all through the roof because he can't get his credit back up. You know what I mean? So how do you guys tell somebody to like try to get their credit back up after,
Yeah, one of the things, and this happened specifically to me, was like I was an authorized user on an account. And so my mom had a credit history. And so based on her credit history, because she was responsible and paid on time, I got to have the luxury of having her credit score transferred over to mine. And so I was able to grow credit based off just spending the authorized user's card. And then my credit grows. And so then now I can go out and get my own card. And so that's one of the things people can do. If there's somebody that you are close to or you really trust, ask them to be an authorized user on their account. You know what I'm saying? If they're responsible and then you're now responsible, that's going to help your credit grow. And once your credit grows, now you can get your own credit. Now you can, it'll probably start at a very low limit, but that's how you build it, right? After 6 months of on-time payments, then you can ask for an increase, right? Let's say it was $500, now you can ask for $1,000. And so you just build that credit back up very slowly and keep a couple of things in mind, right? You want to have your utilization rate. That's very important. How much are you using? So if they gave you $1,000 as your credit line, right, are you using 900 of it or are you using $100 of it, right? So that ratio, you want to keep it like 10% utilization because that helps your score grow and keeps it at a high level. So like those are two little things that you can do to help build your credit back up if it was torn down. Dispute
letters too. That's something that I actually have bad credit, and that's another. There's no credit jail. Even if you have bad credit, that falls off after years too. Mm-hmm. So it's like, you could just wait it out. That's one way. Like you could literally just wait it out, and then 7 years later, you have good credit again as long as you've been paying your bills on time for that time frame. But you can also have dispute letters, and a lot of companies if they don't actually respond to the dispute, it could actually be taken off of your credit too. So there's different ways, but everything comes with time as well. So it probably can't fix it overnight, but the key is like if you have bad credit, don't just say, okay, I have bad credit, so screw it. Over. I'm not gonna pay my bills anymore. I'm gonna keep high credit limits on my credit cards. That's just gonna keep the cycle going. Pay your bills on time, keep low credit card limits, use your credit card for things that you can actually pay off, like use it for gas and stuff like that. Don't overexpend. Don't spend money on things that you don't necessarily need. Basic financial literacy stuff, but a lot of people just lack that discipline.
And reach out to your lender, right? So if you owe Best Buy $10,000 because you've been maxing up your entertainment center on Best Buy, reach out to them. Like, listen, I need to change my payment date because I don't get paid to this time of the month. So there's ways to finagle around it. Or even sometimes I know people who said, you know what, I'm going to call it debt consolidation, right? Where as somebody represents you, like if your the credit card was maxed out to $30,000, and you said, let's meet at a medium. I can't pay a 29% interest rate on $30,000. I'll be paying this for 35 years. Have somebody mediate that, where it's like, all right, well, I can make payments of $10,000 for the next 2 years. And maybe we can just have a settlement there and we can meet there and then your credit won't be as affected.
Mm-hmm. I saw the running back, Josh Jacobs, for the Dallas Las Vegas Raiders.
Okay.
So he got drafted. When he got drafted, he was in Oakland. Mm-hmm. So he must have the right agent or financial advisor in his ear because he held his rookie signing bonus for a year. because then they're in Nevada.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
He literally, they said he made $300,000 more, whatever his rookie signing bonus was.
No state tax.
No state tax.
Yep.
And I being such a sports fan like I am, it's funny because when it comes to finances, I always look at guys like when they sign with a certain team, and I go, okay, if you're an undrafted free agent and you make the Indiana Pacers, you're on league minimum. I go, your money's going a lot farther than playing for the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah.
Indiana.
And even like big contracts, like you got to realize somebody got $100 million deal. It's a big difference between playing in California or New York as opposed to playing in Miami or Dallas where there's no state income tax. Like that makes a big difference. You're talking about millions of dollars that you're going to potentially be losing by playing in these states with high income tax.
Yeah.
So it's something to definitely consider for sure.
It's like when LeBron left the Heat and came to the Lakers. Went to Cleveland but ended up in the Lakers. You're talking from 0 tax to 13%.
Dude, you know the state of California wanted him so bad.
Please.
Come on, man.
Please.
Yeah.
I heard Toronto's bad. That's why a lot of guys won't go up there.
Toronto's really bad because you get taxed twice. So the thing with the NBA and stuff, even if you play in a state with no income tax, that's only half of your games. So the other half of the games, you still got to pay state taxes in those states that you're playing in. But obviously, the majority of your games, 50% of your games, is going to be in one location. So it's going to make a big difference. But Toronto is a whole different country with Canada, so you have to pay Canadian taxes as well. So it's the worst. Canada is actually the worst. So that definitely stops people from going there because it's like you have to not only pay American taxes, but you have to pay Canadian taxes also.
And then you got state tax and you got city tax. So like if you're playing the Brooklyn Nets or you're playing the Knicks, there's a tax from New York City on top of the state tax.
Yeah, and that's the good thing with football. The Giants and the Jets, even though it's the New York Giants, New York Jets, they play in Jersey. Most of the guys live in Jersey. So it's a little better as opposed to, MSG, Barclays Center, that's in New York City. So not only are you paying New York taxes, which is the second highest in the country, now you're paying New York City taxes, which is extremely high also. So they getting screwed left and right.
You don't ever take it into account.
Everybody thinks about that.
I just want to play at MSG.
Because all they report is like what they signed for. They don't report what the agent's taking out and taxes and everything else. Because I'd be looking at stuff like this. He's not making that.
No,
Exactly.
half of it is taxes already.
Maybe
right?
half. Like you said, after all paying everybody and all that stuff, you come home with less than half.
Yeah, and they're looking at that. So if somebody signs for $140 million, that's over 5 years. But like already, like half of that is gone. So you're already cutting. And then, like you said, with all the fees, and then you break it down per 5 years. It's like, damn.
And you buy a house, you buy your mom's house before it's not really hard to understand why people can go broke.
Yeah, by the 7th year, you can't pay the property tax.
Yeah.
On the
But
house.
I think I was talking to a couple guys in the NFL, and they said that's why they really hold out for the sign-in bonus, the guaranteed money, because when you're watching ESPN or something, they'll be like, so-and-so signed for $70 million, but 35 is guaranteed. And then I was like this, so he signed for 35.
Yeah.
He didn't sign
Exactly.
for 70.
That's like Michael Vick got $200 million contracts, never saw $100 million. He had two $100 million contracts, but he never received $100 million. NFL is completely different from basketball, baseball, where you're gonna get. Now they're starting to get guaranteed contracts in the NFL now, but it's still not the norm. Like you sign a $100 million contract, you might get $15 million. It's just like it's show money.
And they reserve the right to cut you.
Yeah, they restructure your deal to cut you.
Release you anytime. That's why the signing bonus is super important because that's the guaranteed money.
What how'd you guys come up with this assets over liabilities?
You want to tell?
Yeah, when we started our podcast, we had to think of like a slogan like for merch. Because obviously, merch is like a real big deal. So I'm thinking of like, what is like, in a couple of words, describes what we do. I'm like, assets over liabilities. I'm like, oh, that's dope. And then I'm like, all right, how can we actually make it so it's like real dope? So it's like assets with the line over, like it's like a math equation. I didn't realize that that's a real big accounting term. So now every accountant thinks we're like in the accountant underworld. They see us like, oh, are you an accountant? I'm like, nah, we got a show. But yeah, I mean, it kind of sums up, that's what we really strive for. You can have fun. We're not extremists, but it's like you got to prioritize things. So assets over liabilities.
I would just go in and said, fuck.
We're going to put that on the back.
You go through a divorce, you're like this, fuck. It's funny too when you I'm not gonna put all my business out there, but You learn so much about your own finances going through divorce. I was like this. Oh, I never needed that. Oh, I didn't know I had to pay on that. I learned a lot. I think I've become more financially sound going through the divorce. Like you said, file for bankruptcy, you should learn from it. It's not the end of the world. It's very similar.
Yeah.
Like it's like this. Okay, this is not the end of the world, but I'm definitely learning from this shit.
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
Do you recommend, let me ask you this. Do you recommend being married, 2-income household, do you recommend combining or keeping the accounts separate?
And I'm always going to do separate. That's
There you
just-
go. That's what I'm talking about. That's why you're on the show, bro. Boom. Keep that shit separate.
I'll wait till he answers. And then I'll answer.
Bro, I learned.
Oh, you
that
was
way.
doing it together?
I'll put it that way. I learned. That's all I'm going to say about it.
okay.
But I learned.
Yeah, I am married, and so we both have our separate accounts, and then we have a joint account. So there's like just an account that obviously money goes into that, but she has her own, I have my own, and then we have something together.
Why? Dude, look at us. Why?
I know, I should be learning from you. But like you said, it's your business partner, it's your life partner as well. So I trust her, and she trusts my financial decisions, so we good. For now.
Enjoy it. Life comes at you fast, brother.
I was gonna say I'll call my financial advisor, but maybe.
It is, I tell you what, so talking finance somewhat, it is a very liberating feeling. Since I got the divorce, and I'm in complete control of finances right now. Now, granted, whatever happens in a divorce, the numbers will work themselves out. But to finally be able to be in complete control of what I got coming in, what's going out, it is such a level of freedom, and that's why I'm like looking to finally invest in some stuff now.
Yeah.
It reminded me of when I first joined the military out of high school. So, you're in high school, I always had to ask for stuff like, can I have money for this? Can I have money for this? I'll never forget how such a good feeling it was when I went to like Burger King right after boot camp, and I ordered something to eat, and I go, oh my God, I can pay for this. I don't have to call
You don't
nobody.
have to ask, you don't got
like
somebody
this.
looking over your shoulder.
Oh my God, I was like this, holy shit.
Why'd you spend money on this? Why'd you do that?
I got a check coming in
Wait,
every
are
2
we-
weeks, bro.
Are we saying that's what marriage is like?
No, I'm just,
Oh.
it could be. It could be.
I'm saying free, bro. Come on.
Got you.
It's
Noted.
freedom, man.
Liberation.
Noted.
Liberation.
Now, are you remarried now?
Nah.
All right. You just.
I'm just married, man. I'm the only one that's.
So he comes over for Thanksgiving, and he's like, "How
He
much
didn't
you
come
spend on
this year. He usually does.
How much you spend on that turkey, bro? No, that was not a good investment, bro. You got the organic celery? Oh, this guy. You can't taste it once it's in the turkey and the dressing.
I'm the only one that's married out of our crew of friends.
How many people are in the Assets Over Liability crew?
It's a bunch of us.
It's all people you grew up with?
Yep.
Everybody
for
we
the
grew
most
up
part,
with. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
You guys all just came back together?
It's like the Wu-Tang
We
Clan.
never left each other. So the actual show is Earn Your Leisure. This is just a title for, well, it actually is a title for another show that we have on Revolt. But this is like our slogan for a lot of our merchandise. So Earn Your Leisure is the show, but it's everybody we grew up with. Like I've known him since he was in 6th grade. Our other partners I've known since we were in like first kindergarten. Like,
Well, was you the spearhead? Like you got it going, like, yo, of
Yeah.
everybody?
Yeah.
And then and when he first came, you like, yo, let's start
Yeah.
talking about money and investing in shit.
pretty much. Yeah. So we were teaching financial literacy inside of classrooms to young adults. And I'm the teacher and he's a financial advisor. So it just kind of made sense, right? Financial literacy. But then he was branching out, doing his own thing on social media. And it was drawing a lot of attention because the way he was telling stories about sports and finance and these stories that people never heard about money. Like that Josh Jacobs story, like that's an interesting story. Like he would break that down. And so he started doing them, and then people wanted more of the dialogue, and they were like, "Do you have a podcast?" And like pretty much like within the next week, we were in my house, and he was like, "You want to do a podcast?" And I'm like, "Okay."
Where'd you guys go to college?
I went to college in New York.
I finished up in Hawaii.
Really?
Yeah.
That would have been my first guess. I came out of left field. If you would have said where, that would have probably, there's 50 states. I probably would have said Puerto Rico.
Puerto
before Hawaii.
Rico.
How do you end up in Hawaii?
So I used to play ball. So I went to school in Maryland, first UMBC, and I was on a basketball scholarship. And I left. I transferred after my sophomore year. Had a fallout with the coach. So the other coach.
Why'd you fall? He started laughing.
Because I'm laughing because I was coming to see his game. I was going to see him play, and he had a fallout the week of. And I'm like, damn, bro.
Dude, you was flying in?
I was
Driving
driving down. I was in Baltimore.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So that didn't work out. And then, a coach that recruited me there, he left. So he had a relationship with the coach in Hawaii. It was so crazy because growing up, Hawaii always seemed like a magical place, like Hawaii 5-0. I didn't look at it like it was a real place. So I was in class and I got a voicemail and it's like, this is Coach Law from University of Hawaii. I'm like, I had to listen to it 3 times. I'm like, Hawaii? What? So he like, there's an opportunity for you to come. We got a scholarship for you. I'm like, I'm coming. I don't even need to visit or nothing. Sign me up. Done deal.
Talk about expensive place to live. Good Lord.
It was a vibe. A good time out there.
Yeah. Well, you save on winter coats. Things like that.
Exactly.
You know what I
Winter
mean?
clothes.
That's one of my favorite places to go to.
I haven't been.
You never been to Hawaii?
No.
All the financial stuff? You gotta live, man.
The 2 times I was trying to go, my wife ended up pregnant. And so I was like,
That's what she's supposed to get pregnant, bro.
I know. And then when he got married, his wedding was in Hawaii. My daughter's due date was his wedding day. And so I missed his wedding, and then
It didn't work out.
I'm not supposed to be in Hawaii, I don't think so.
Well, it didn't work out.
Yeah.
You
So
didn't
I got
miss
another chance.
You ain't missed
So
nothing.
you're saying there's another chance.
Aloha to the good people of Hawaii, though, man. I got a lot of love out there.
Where'd you play? Hawaii Hilo, you said?
Hilo, it's on the Big Island. You've been to Hawaii a few times.
I've been to
right?
all of them.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm performed there every year. Obviously, COVID I didn't, but I do the, but I'm on Oahu.
Oahu,
right there in Honolulu.
Honolulu. It's like Miami.
Where's Hilo?
It's on the Big Island, on the West
Yeah.
Coast.
Okay.
You know Kona?
Yeah, that's one of my favorites.
On the other side of Kona.
Okay. Kona, people be sleeping on Kona. Kona's dope.
Kona's a vibe. You got the volcano.
Yeah, and they got like a little hidden black sand beach. Like everybody goes to Maui for the black sand beach.
You ever been to the green sand beach?
I don't know about that one.
They got a green sand beach. It's called South Point. Next time you go.
It's on the Big Island?
On the Big Island. The most southernest part of the Big Island.
Really?
It's green sand.
Never seen that in my life.
Yeah, it's a vibe.
That's probably got you in the money. I saw that green sand, like, wait a minute, the sand can be green.
Epiphany.
Make me some green.
That's a fact.
So you got your own podcast. You got your own hoodies.
Yep.
Yeah.
T-shirts.
Very important.
Yeah. And what's the podcast called?
Earn Your Leisure.
Earn Your Leisure.
Yeah.
I'm glad you guys are on, man, because this really got thrown together at the last second.
That's
Like,
the best. That's what's the best part of life.
Yeah.
And they said, yeah, they. I'm telling you, the guys here within this structure, like, sold you guys, like, yo, they're good to talk to, finances and stuff. And I'm going like this. Well, I'm going through a divorce. I need some financial help myself. I'll take it anywhere I can get it. Now, when Hammer got in trouble,
Yo, shout out to Hammer.
yeah. When Hammer got in trouble, I remember he was on the Chris Rock show. And Chris Rock said, do you have any advice so somebody doesn't get put in the situation you was in? He said, yeah, get a good accountant, good lawyer, good tax attorney, and then have somebody else to watch over them.
Yeah.
Because I think, like you said, like in my line of work, I don't know if this is for other people, but sometimes when my accountant calls me, I'm going, what? I'm just trusting them.
Yeah.
Basically, like you said, I know when you were rattling off all the write-offs, I go, I've learned that as I've gone, got an LLC, found out, as a stand-up, and we write a lot off, flights, hotels, food, if I want to get ready for a movie, I can get a trainer. It's all write-off.
Strip club.
I don't do that. No. It's funny, last movie I did, I was playing a stripper. So I probably could have.
Yeah, it's community service.
Yeah.
You were playing a stripper?
Playing a stripper, yeah.
You were the stripper.
It's one of the strippers.
Okay.
Oh,
There was a
man.
bunch of us.
It's Magic Mike Part 6 or something.
It was similar. There was the black Magic Mike, but I was the one white stripper on the crew. You know what I mean?
There's
It
always
was
one.
like Coach Carter. I was Channing Tatum. I was like the one. Like, why is Channing Tatum in the hood in Richmond? The whole time I watched that movie, I was like this. I've been to Richmond, California. He's not there.
No.
Channing Tatum is not on that team.
No.
What gave it away?
It was similar to that, but I forgot what I was talking about. Oh, it was
The write-offs.
write-offs and everything else. you're just trusting your accountant. Like, he'll rattle off all this stuff, and I'm going, yeah. I really don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, most people don't.
And you could always get your books audited too from outside firm, like because a lot of people have their accountants that stole from them over the years, like
I heard.
and people have even went to jail because their accountants have stole from them and then they haven't paid taxes. It's a whole mess. So you want to be educated yourself. I think for all entertainers, athletes, never just give somebody complete access. Like, people pay your bills and that's cool, but know what bills are being paid. Know how much money is coming out of your account. Know, like, the money's coming out of your account, where is it going?
Yeah.
Like, ask questions, number one.
Well, a lot of it's going to my divorce attorney.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
The crazy thing with attorneys
Like
is,
this.
The crazy thing with attorneys is, like, if you building a house, right, you can say, okay, this costs $300,000 to build, and then that's it. And then if we need to do more, then we do more. Attorneys, they'll just say, like, I'm $100 an hour, and I can't tell you how many hours I'm going to work. So you just run the meter, and then at any point in time, you stop paying them, and they just stop working. But there's no frame of, like, to say I'm gonna work 1,000 hours, I'm gonna work 10,000 hours. It's just like, I don't know how many hours this is gonna be. It's just per hour.
Unlimited.
Well, you just got to, what I found, you got to do your research on them attorneys too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I researched the heck out of the ones I got. I was like, okay, these got recommended by numerous people, read up, so.
Yeah, the education part is the vital part, right? So, like, the more you know, the more you study, then you have the questions that you can ask. Like, we don't ask the questions because we don't know. A lot of people just don't know the questions to ask. Like, where's that going? What is that person's job? You just know that the money's going to them. So that's why I'm saying, like, educate yourself. Yeah, you can have these people in place, but understand what they're doing and what their roles are. Because then ultimately, their money, you're paying them. So you should know, like, what they're doing with the money and what their job is to earn the money.
Right. What I found easiest for me to stay on top of taxes and my tax bracket is, as soon as I get a check and I'm putting it in the bank, I just take 30%, I round up. So if I have a check for $980, which is basically $1,000, I'm just gonna put $300 into this other account that's basically my IRS account, my taxes.
Yeah.
But it never fails. I always can pay my taxes, but it never
more.
fails. It's always a little more. That's how I go, whoa, I thought I had enough, but I got enough. So to me, that's the simplest way that my brain works.
Yeah.
And I don't even think about it.
That's a good strategy.
When he does hit me, I'm like this, I got it. And just transfer it over, takes it out, and we're good.
Yeah, I think anybody should do that, right? Like, the moment that you make money, especially in the line of work you're in, automatically, it's not 100%.
No.
Just, all right, let's take 35% of this. That has to go over here. We never make it, but in our minds, it's like, no, it's 100% mine. I'll pay it when it's due. And until you get to what's due, it's like, I don't have it.
Save your money. Learn to save.
I learned. Now I'm ready to invest. Let me ask you this: as far as house flipping versus renting. So would you recommend somebody gets a house, flips it, sells it, or gets a house, flips it, and rent it out?
So flipping it is like when you're actually selling it. So if you flipped it, you're not actually going to be able to rent it because you don't own it anymore. I think you're talking about, like, rehabbing it, right?
Yeah, my fault.
Okay, it's all good.
I didn't go to Hawaii Hilo, bro. I didn't go to 2 universities. Way to make me feel stupid. Stupid water.
But it's always good it's always good to hold any investment long term. Stocks, real estate, you want to hold, the longer you hold it, the more money you'll make because the appreciation will go up. So if you buy a home and you renovate it and now you have it, now you can rent it out, you're getting rental income that's coming in, but now that $100,000 home that you purchased in 10 years, it might be worth $600,000, right? Like, we just saw Biggie, his house. Remember that rap he had, thinking back on my one-room shack, It just sold for $2 million.
That one-room shack did?
It was never a one-room shack, but
that was misleading.
That reminds me of I was with a buddy of mine from New York, and he drive me around. So he drives me to the projects where Jay-Z was at.
Okay, Marcy.
Marcy Project. He goes, yo, right there. that's where Jay-Z was at. That's the Marcy Projects. I go, no. I want to see where Jay-Z's living now. I don't care about those projects. I go, take me by where he's living now. That's what I want to see.
You have to fly to Malibu for that.
You gotta be out here.
Take me to the wrong place. I'm going backwards.
I want to see this.
Yeah, but I just like, but still, $2 million, like that's crazy. So, nobody would have thought that would be worth that back in the 90s. So everything appreciates over the time. Most things appreciate over time. Valuable things of value. So it's always good to buy and hold.
Yeah.
But you can still make money by flipping. It just depends on, what your appetite is. But for me, it's always about long term.
Yeah.
What about artwork?
Artwork is a great asset to have, right? Because that's another thing that appreciates, right? You buy a painting, or you buy, let's say you buy a painting and you buy it now and it's $100,000, and 10 years, 20 years down the line, you pass that down, and now it might be 10x, right? And so again, something that you hold long term and it has value, right? It can't just be like it could be a banana on the wall, right? They sold that, but it'll appreciate over time, right? And so you have equity in that. So any asset with value will appreciate.
Watches, anything.
Yeah.
Like,
Nice watches is a good investment.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
of course.
As long as you buy it correctly, do the right way.
Yeah.
Do it the right way.
What does that mean?
So like a Rolex, let's take a Rolex for example, right? Like if you buy a Rolex watch, the worst thing that you can do is like when these rappers say like they bust down when they like actually like just drilling holes in it and putting diamonds in it, like you're actually devaluing the whole Rolex. So the aftermarket value is not going to be the same. But if you buy, even if it has Rolex, if it has diamonds, if it has like factory diamonds are diamonds that Rolex put into it, right? So Rolexes appreciate because there's a shortage of watches right now. You can't buy, if you wanted to buy a Rolex right now, you can't. There's no Rolexes on the market right now.
Really?
Yeah, which makes the value of it go up, right? Supply and demand. So now a Rolex that, you pay $50,000 for, you can probably sell for $75,000, $100,000, depending on.
And
then 10 years from now, that watch is going to be worth $200,000.
Exactly.
That's crazy because I would think watches were like cars.
Nah.
Because you're wearing them, you're wearing and tearing. And
Some antique cars appreciate in value, right? Like if I bought a car like a Chevy from '67, you're probably looking like, well, why would I buy that? But that could be sold for $100,000. 10 years down the line, it could be worth $200,000. But another thing about the Rolex is made out of gold, right? Gold appreciates over time, right? It goes up, it goes down because it's a commodity. Just like platinum's a commodity, silver's a commodity. All these things can be traded and they can appreciate over the course of a period of time. So again, an asset that has value over time will appreciate.
Because I heard and I could be wrong, I heard they're not making G-Wagons anymore.
It's a shortage. It's a shortage of all cars. It's a shortage of everything right now. Corona has put a shortage of everything. So you can't even, just regular cars, you can't even really get a lot of cars.
You ain't lying.
Yeah. You try to get one?
Dude, so I'm an Audi guy, I like Audis, right? They just drive smooth. But that dang, now they're supposed to have this Q4 electric, and they keep pushing back.
Yeah, because of the technology inside. The technology, what's required to run that technology are semiconductors, which are like chips that control all of the functions inside of that car. If they can't produce those chips, then they can't produce the technology to put inside your car. So like if you wanted that car, they like, I'll give you the base model, but it won't have the dashboard up. It won't be loaded.
Wow, the guy at Audi never said that.
Yeah. Like
he just said, wait.
Yeah, our partner, his mom, we had a flood, and he lost the car. The car was totaled, and he was trying to get a new one. They just didn't have one. They said, we'll give you the base model. It just won't have any of the dash on. Like, you can have, like, the speedometer, but everything else, touchscreen, all that's done, if you want the car. And who wants that car?
Who wants that car?
Exactly. But that's what they're offering people.
That's why everything is over sticker right now. Houses, people is paying way more than a house is worth because there's not enough houses for the demand. People's paying way more than what watches are worth. People's paying way more than what cars are worth. Like, everything right now is a shortage of everything, which has risen the price of everything.
Well, that's good to know. All right. I think I got enough.
We didn't even talk about your wall of fame over there.
What do you want to know? I already told you guys. I want it. White guys and black-dominated genres that did really well.
Who can we add?
So it's a play on the black and white. Is that
little bit.
intentional?
Yeah, of course.
Of course. Larry, Eminem.
So you got Eminem, Larry Bird. See, like, baseball is kind of across the board. You can't put a baseball player up there.
No.
Now, I told you could put Tyson Fury.
Or Tom Brady.
Sport.
Tom Brady.
For quarterbacks, though,
Nah, he fits
if
right
you
now.
now if you get a white running back, now Christian McCaffrey, give him a couple years.
Yeah, that's a good one. He might be able to be up here.
But I would do Tiger Woods. Just go against the grain. Not to make it like all white, pro-white.
Nah,
It's pro
He got
against
traded
the grain.
on the Chappelle show. He got traded.
Tiger Woods got traded.
Doesn't count.
Yeah, remember they had the racial.
Or like,
racial
how about I don't know how the guys do anymore, but there's the sprinter Matthew Bowling. He's at University of Georgia right now. White dude broke all the high school sprint championships. 100, 200 long jump. I think he's a sophomore at Georgia now. I'm not sure how he's doing, but I remember in high school I was like, who's that guy?
He's going
He
up?
might make the wall.
Well, the guy who won the 100 meters is from Italy.
In the Olympics last year?
Yeah, he's Italian.
I'm gonna put him right there.
Is he white though?
Give him a small chair.
I don't know if he's white.
Honorable mention.
Yeah.
The guy that won 100 meters was Italian.
Yeah. But I think he might be a black Italian
Can
though.
we look him up?
Yeah.
100-meter champion was it 2020 Olympics?
Yeah. He might be black though.
You got a research department.
I got a crack staff.
Got to vet that information.
Who won the?
Marcel.
That does not sound Italian.
No, he is Italian.
Definitely not
That
Italian.
sounds
Definitely.
black.
Okay.
Let me see.
He's Italian.
Is that guy white?
I don't know if he's white
I
though.
don't think he's white though.
But he's definitely Italian. I know that for sure.
He might have been the child of Michael Ealy and that Italian lady in the movie Spike Lee directed. Was that Santa Ana?
Yeah.
Road to Santa Ana?
I watched
that. Might have
I
been their
watched that.
grandkid.
I watched that.
He'll never know who his grandpa was.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen.
We found his grandson.
Yeah, I would put him up. Let me think of any other sport. See, hockey, I would, huh?
So he was born.
Yeah.
He is an African American father.
So he's black.
So he's
See,
black.
there you have it.
So he's black.
There you
he's
have
black.
it, ladies and gentlemen.
It's
Yeah.
not
But I don't
white.
think he knows his
can't
dad,
make the
though.
wall.
Don't matter.
Doesn't matter. He
I
can't make the wall.
know. He can't make the wall.
He can't make the wall.
We got to think of somebody
It's
else.
gotta be 100%. It's gotta be 100%.
All right, Tyson Fury then. We can put him
We
on.
could put Tyson
He
up.
can go.
Tyson Fury definitely.
Yeah, he belongs up there.
And a couple years might be putting Luca up there. Luca might be
Luka. And what's the boxer, the YouTuber,
Jake Paul.
Jake Paul. He's fastly
The only
approaching.
problem is I put Jake Paul up there. He want to fight me. Why you put my name on the I'm like, dude, you're mad at everybody. I've never seen a guy like with so much money, so angry. I'm like, you're so young. Why are you so mad at everybody?
Jake Paul's on a rampage
Start
right
from
now.
the bottom.
Right? Killing it. You know?
Yeah, shout out to them.
Yeah.
You have it.
All right, guys. I appreciate you coming on last minute. I want to push this episode up so I could air it because I want to watch it back. So I got someone to go to when I get references. You know what I mean?
Use it as a reference point.
And then what? Give me your podcast one more time.
Earn Your Leisure.
And is that the YouTube page?
Yep, across all social media, YouTube, Spotify, Apple, everything.
Earn Your Leisure.
Earn Your Leisure.
Got it.
Got it.
Yeah.
Is that? Let me ask you this: Are the Gildan? Is it Gildan?
Like who's this? Custom.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I don't sell that Gildan
We
stuff.
moved away from Gildan a while ago.
Yo, Gildan is just hard on the skin.
It's cheap.
Good
See,
lord.
You get like 2 wears out of it.
It never fits right either.
Yeah.
It's always like the sleeves are way out here and the torso's tight. And I'm like, what kind of Kevin Hart
You get the U
torso
collar.
Hulk Hogan arms modeled this? 'Cause
Get
it
the
don't
U
fit.
collar.
Yeah.
That was not U collar yet, but shoot, it's on its way.
I mean, I always tell when I do merch after my shows, I always specify. I go, this is not Gildan. I go, you can wear this more than once. It's feel good fabric.
It's important for them to know.
Yeah. Let them know.
One wash will not ruin it.
Destroy this whole thing.
Good lord.
Yeah.
All right, what we learned today, folks. We don't like Gildan.
That's it.
And the guy that won 100 meters in the Olympics was half black.
Black Italian.
Black Italian.
Yep. Shouts out to Michael Ealy.
Chicken pasta.
All right. I appreciate you guys coming out. Thank
no
you, man.
problem, man. Thank you
Thanks
for
for
having
having
us.
us, bro.